Hey, it's Scott Silvis, professor of sales here. I'm here with one of my proteges, Emma Splawn. So just a quick backstory on how I met Emma. When I was coming to Midlothian, I was looking for sales assistants, and I got a letter from a girl graduating high school who said that in her letter that she determined that she wanted to get into new home sales, that was a career path that she had identified to go after and get. So she sent me a letter and she came in and interviewed, and I said, I hired her on the spot, right? Because smart kid, kind of interested in what she was going to learn about. So how long, you take it from there and tell what transpired from there.
I mean, for me, I always just kind of envisioned maybe I'd be a realtor, maybe I would get into some type sales field, pharmaceutical, something. I knew I wanted to do something that involved people. But I was actually working at a winery at the time, making charcuterie boards in the back when I saw somebody with the Bloomfield shirt come in which I know of Bloomfield. They build all around, in my city. So I was familiar. And so I kind of, struck up a conversation with her. We started talking about what we do and, all the ins and outs.
Who that was?
Yeah, I do.
Who was it?
Ashley Thibodeau.
Oh,
marketing.
Ashley. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So we started talking and she was like, you should come and join us. And I was like, okay, maybe I will. Honestly, kind of joking a little bit. Like I did not know what I was doing, didn't know where I was going for college just yet. I was kind of in an in-between state. But I was, a little bit determined to see what it was like. And so I went and interviewed with Scott. And then from there, I mean, the rest is history. It's been 2.5 years.
You know that I've coined myself as the professor of new home sales, right? And so just share what you learned for how long? We worked together for 2 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay, so in 2.5 years, describe the education that you earned.
Yeah, that was the absolute turning point for me because I knew nothing when I got here. And Scott took me from, in 2.5 years, being completely green, not knowing a thing, to now I feel like I've got it going on. I still got plenty to learn, but I feel like I've learned a ton. And it was, every day, didn't matter what we were doing, we could be slammed. But 30 minutes out of the day, Scott was teaching me something. Whether we were out in the field, in the office, doing more technical things, it was always, hey, let's go over different types of brick today, something. So it was good.
There's always something to learn. There's always
right.
something to learn at home.
That's right. Yep.
And so today, so you graduated and we broke up.
We did.
We did, and you went and now tell us today what you're doing.
I am still in the industry, still doing the same thing, just as Scott now and not, the assistant role. So I've taken the reins a little bit, trying to do it on my own, and so far I've been successful at it.
And you've been there about how long? A year?
I've been out on my own for a year.
Okay, very good. All right.
Got new home sales consultant of the quarter in Q3.
All right.
Thanks to this guy.
It's okay to say who you work for. You could tell people who you work for.
Chesmar Homes.
Chesmar Homes. And where are you located?
I'm in the Oaks of North Grove in Waxahachie.
Yeah.
So I'm just right down the road from
right down the road.
The Midlothian professor of new home sales.
I'm so glad that you joined me today because I have a special place in my heart. I always love to help people. That's why I'm the professor, because I like to teach and hopefully set people up for success in the rest of their life, right?
Yeah.
So now, in terms of your education, where are you at? Tell us a little bit about that.
My education?
Yeah.
I'm graduated. I've got my bachelor's in marketing. I went to Texas A&M Corpus Christi, finished it all up online so I could continue pursuing this. So I was doing both for a while, which was a lot. 6 classes plus being a new home sales consultant was a lot. There's a lot of nights not going to bed until 3 or 4 o'clock, but it was worth it.
So I would just characterize you as a bit of an overachiever.
Sometimes,
but
sometimes.
But whenever I met Emma, she was just graduated high school and she came out of Midlothian ISD. She went to Midlothian ISD your whole career, right?
Yeah, my whole education was through MISD.
Okay, so tell me about it, because if you went there, usually kids don't like the schools that they go to, but you like it?
No, I really do. I don't have anything, bad to say about Midlothian ISD. In fact, I have, thousands of good things that I could say about it. I thoroughly enjoyed my high school time at Heritage here. There they did a lot for the students to get us prepared. It wasn't just, hey, here's some classes, take them and get done. No, In fact, in high school, I was able to get a patent and was funded for a small
Wow.
company that we started through the programs that
Really?
they had set up for us.
You
Yeah.
never told me that.
No.
Jeez,
Yeah,
you're
I
a
had
patent holder? Oh, gosh.
We had a little entrepreneurship class that the whole semester was set up a company, tell us what you want to do, and then we went out in front of the mayor and in front of some of the big city representatives and pitched our case and said,
Wow.
hey, this is the company that we want to form. We've got ideas, we've got 3D renderings, we've got prototypes. We just need funding and some help getting a patent. And they helped us with all of it. So
All right.
got us all set up.
Well, I got to ask now, where is that today?
Well,
That's a story for a different day.
Yeah, that's another day.
Okay, all right. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because one thing that intrigued me whenever you were telling me about how it's just not reading, writing, and arithmetic in high school, that you got choices of different types of professions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Of course, you do your basics, but then we've got a little CTE center called The Mile out here.
CTE, what's that mean?
Career Technical Engineer.
Education?
Yeah, something. It was
Okay.
all the little, off
CTE.
things. Is more career training, less,
Okay.
hey, what is a synonym? So
Okay.
it was, you could take culinary. They had a full kitchen out there, and actually they kind of teach you how to run the business too, because it was a full-fledged bistro that they cooked at, and then they sold food, to the public during the week.
So that was hands-on experience.
Hands-on, you got to be,
Right.
from beginning to end of being a prep, being
What were some of the
cook.
other things?
There was all of the
Cybersecurity?
cybersecurity.
Yeah.
There was the aerospace engineering.
Okay.
So if you wanted to go into that field, they had a lot of different mechanical type classes. Of course, entrepreneurship was one of the big ones. But what they did there too was if you had finished all your basics and wanted to go from, maybe something that doesn't apply to everyday life,
Right.
algebra 4, you could take financial math there, which taught me how to do my taxes and, more things that I use in my everyday life than the Pythagorean theorem. So it was, finding the little things that
and
you need.
What year did you graduate?
In 21.
21.
Yeah.
And you give it A+ rating?
A+ rating. Yeah.
Okay. All
First hand
right.
experience, I give it A+.
Okay. All right. Very good. Action. She's so good. She's such a good videographer. You sure it's working now? You're recording, right?
Yes, we're 11 minutes in already, y'all.
11 seconds.
11?
Those are seconds.
Okay, 11 seconds.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
See, that's what I mean. The outtakes are good.
Yep, that's right.
All right. Hey, it's Scott, professor. The first things that we did when you came in was what? Tell me.
Personality test.
Personality test. And,
Yep.
and why was that so important, do you think?
Well, it's important, from your stand, just to make sure that you're hiring somebody that either balances off from what you don't have covered already, or something that that you're lacking in.
A compliment.
Right.
Right. Okay. All right.
So we had a good team with. Cindy was always more on the owl side, where the rest of us were tigers. So we had a good balance of all the personalities going with our little squad. That's right.
So as a tiger, are you seeing let's put it this way. Understanding the personality profiles and understanding how that works, how has that helped you in your new home sales career?
Every day, every person that you meet, you kind of have to adjust. You have to be a chameleon in new home sales. You have to be able to adjust
I've heard
to
that
exactly who you need to be to make sure that they feel comfortable. Some people need facts straight out the door. Keep it simple. More people need more of a somebody that can hold their hand and walk them through it. Right. So being able to be who you need to be for each person is important.
Okay. Well, that's good, and it's paid dividends, right? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
All right. So personality profiles, maybe one of the best things you learned from me?
I think so.
All right.
I do think so.
Don't let me put words in your mouth.
No, that's, I feel like, is one of my biggest strengths now, is being able to adjust to different, personalities, different characteristics of others, and being able to easily blend in with how they need me to be. I really feel like that's one of my strengths. So, and I got
So-
that from here. So I really feel like that is one of the big ones.
So one of the things, how I would characterize it is, because people generally always say, I sell like I would want to be sold.
No.
Well, that's okay if you're a tiger and you're selling to another tiger. So I would say that learning the personality profiles, the bulls, owls, lambs, tigers, helps you to sell that person the way they want to be sold, as opposed to the way you want to be sold.
Right.
So being a chameleon, what you're saying is that you have to adjust how you sell to different people based on if they want all the details, or if they're worried about safety, security,
Exactly.
or if they're worried about energy efficiency, or if they're ready to party with their friends.
That's right. Everybody's got their own little hot buttons, you know, and finding what that is, identifying it quickly, and then being able to cater to it is number one. So.
All right. Very good. Well, that's the value of learning the personality profiles, and sometimes it's just what you teach. You want to make sure that when it gets applied that it's beneficial, and Emma's proved that up for us today.
100%. Hi, I'm Emma Splawn. I am apparently the protege of the new home sales professor here, Scott Silvis. And today we're going to flip
one
the
of the
script.
proteges. One of the proteges.
Right.
Because I have others.
There's
but yes,
plenty of children in the family here.
Yes,
but,
there are. That's true.
I'm going to flip the script a little bit today, and we're going to ask the professor some questions. So,
okay.
as somebody starting out in the industry, what do you think is one of the biggest, either, skill sets, personalities? What are you looking for whenever you find somebody that you want to make your next protege? What are you looking for to take them to the next level?
Okay, I think that's a good question. Honestly, what I would want to do is I would take the personality profile, or make that person take the personality profile, so I understand who they are. Everybody can be successful. All the personality profiles can sell houses. It's just that they have to learn how to do it sometimes. But I would say probably the biggest thing is that they want to make money. At the end of the day, you have to work weekends, right? It's not an easy job. Not everybody can do it. You have to it's very simple, because it's really no more than setting expectations about what's going to happen throughout the process. And once you do that, and if something bad's going to happen, and you tell the people in advance that, just so you know, this could happen, then people are accepting of it. So that's kind of it. I would say, making sure that they have a personality that can take all the different stimuli that we have to deal with, and at the same time that they like to make money, because it's very important, and that you have the drive and determination to succeed. So those would be those things.
Okay, very good. Also, curious on, you've got tons of years in the industry now.
Right.
You know
Tons
the ins
of
and
40. Okay, let's not
well,
overstate
I'm not going to
it.
say 40. Just
Okay,
have
well,
a
you could
lot
say
of
40.
years.
It's fine. I already said that because my daughter is 40. So, and I started whenever she was
Got
born.
40 years of experience in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel like over the 40 years has been maybe like a turning point for you, where it just maybe went from being, oh my God, this is a really difficult career, to, okay, I'm starting to feel comfortable now?
I pretty
Do you
much
think
always
you ever
felt
felt comfortable?
No, I always feel comfortable.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
it's true.
How do I get there?
How do you get there?
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. I mean, that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing is, you have to love yourself more than you love anybody else, right?
Yeah.
And believe in what you can, and, set goals, and, strive for your goals. Honestly, I mean, because I've done a lot of different things, from building houses with Centex Homes and developing property in Ohio and being a manager. I would say probably one of the turning points for me was whenever my children got to the point where they were grown up and I didn't need to be on their weekends, to be around on the weekends.
Right.
So that's whenever I made the switch and I went into sales. Rather than being a manager, I got to go on the floor and, practice all the stuff that I preached. And I found out that everything that I taught and believed in worked. And I think that's big, because, you make a lot more money selling houses than being a manager at the end of the day, because you get to, whatever you sell, you get to reap the benefits of. So for me, that was a turning point, because it gave financial freedom, and, my family affords things that are nice because of it.
Good. That's one thing that, I'm trying to work on being younger in my career, is finally finding a point where, number one, I don't take things personally, and number two, some of the confidence that I hold isn't false. You know, I know a lot of times it's, you know, I've got this Mrs. Negotiator, like, no big deal, I've got it. But on the inside, my heart is just like, you know. So trying to find that point where I'm like, okay, I can relax for a minute. I've got it.
You got to remember that you've just been doing this for, you know, a year or two. So, you know, but I mean, it'll come with time. And yeah, and sometimes you feel that way. But at the end of the day, you know, you can't doubt yourself. You have to have 100% confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing into being successful, is just, you know, not listening to others that are saying or feeding you doubts or telling you what are you doing that, or questioning you.
Right.
You just make sure that you have your goals written down, belief in yourself, and, you know, check the goals along the way as you achieve them.
Okay.
You know?
That's the ticket.
Right there.
That's it. All right. Like, comment, and subscribe.
But Emma, you know, all the best to you in the future, and thanks for joining me on my channel. Remember, share,
like, comment, subscribe.
So
like,
give it to me one more time. Let's do it again, one more time.
Like, comment, subscribe.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.